it's okay, cause I'm gon' die for this. I put my mind to this. Watch all these people, how they treat you, got no time for it. I fear no evil, got my demons, I'm just fine with them. And all these people think they know me, it don't matter to me, cause I'm gon' die for this. I put my mind to this. Watch all these people, how they treat you, got no time for it. I fear no evil, got my demons, I'm just fine with them.
We're back. Welcome to another episode of the 3 Point Stance podcast. I'm Kaleb, and I'm here with my esteemed USFL champion co-host D Gray. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, brother. Man, I'm glad to be back, man. And most important, I'm glad to walk away with that championship out of the USFL as you spoke, man. Man, I'm assuming everybody want to know more about the experience of playing the USFL. So, man, I'm going to get a rundown, man. The past 10 weeks plus training camp, man, has been a blast, man. And as it wrapped up, man, it was kind of one of those bittersweet moments, man. It went by so fast, but during the time it felt kind of going fast some days, slow some day, but that's life in general. So, man, for the most part, man, it was a smooth transition, man, going through the USFL and getting that film, man, and just most importantly, man, just putting the cleats on again, man, and going out there and doing what I like to do, man, is to go play physical and protect our QB and go score points, man. And it led to a championship this year, man. I was happy to hear some of the things coming out of my exit meetings and some of the things my AJ heard was like, he was a great leader, man. He led our team. We'd love to have him back, but I know some NFL team is going to grab that talent. So, so I was like, oh, I feel kind of sad a little bit. But, I mean, it's nature of the business, man. They was good, genuine people in that league, man. They actually cared about your well-being as a player, your safety, health, and then how well you did on the field. They coach you hard. So my advice to any guys, man, that want to play in another pro league, man, the USFL is the way to go. So, yeah, man, so – and then there was no better feeling than being a Canton in the Hall of Fame, holding up that trophy, man, with cigars and 40-ounce Miller Lights flying all over the place, man, newspaper and hats and all types of great things, man, I have up here, man. So, man, I can go on and on about that.
Yeah, I remember when you started that journey. But, just to kind of talk about your USFL season, how many sacks did you allow?
I think none.
Oh, okay. How many QB hits did you allow?
No QB hits or pressures.
Okay.
None.
Okay. Yep. All right. Just wanted to throw that in there for any NFL teams watching. So
man, here we go, baby. Here we go. Come on. Come on now.
But yeah, My guy's a champion, and I'll let you start off with the first topic.
Man, and just last remarks, man. Like I said, once all the guys out there, man, watch this, man. Y'all young athletes, man, highly considered in the USFL league, man. It's a great league, man. Great developmental league for guys that slowly transition from college, all types of things. So, yeah. But here we go, Steelers, man. We back in it, man. Man, some of the crazy things I've been thinking about, man, as the day going on, man. When you think about the secondary of Pittsburgh, they've been pretty solid, man, with the departure of Terrell Edmonds, man, he was a pretty solid, decent player. I think we talked about him previously before on a couple of our podcasts, but solid player, man. We lost him, man, and he was a good player for us. He had great size, but we also still have the GOAT back there, Minka Fitzpatrick. When you think about some of the still all-time greats of DBs, man, you always think about the Ryan Clarks. You think about all those guys, the Palomalus, and all those guys, and I know you dearly love Ryan Clark, man, Mr. RC, how you knock people out. You love him. But when you think about all those guys, who do you think the greatest Steeler DB of all time is?
So I'm going to do this two different ways. I'm going to go greatest of all time and greatest that I've watched myself, because I didn't get to watch Rod Woodson. I didn't watch Mel Blount. But for the people that I haven't watched, I would say it's down to Mel Blount or Rod Woodson, obviously. And I'm going to go with Mel Blount because they literally changed the rules of how cornerbacks can play off of the way Mel Blount was dominating back in the 70s. But for the time frame I've watched, I mean, it's got to be Troy. I mean, it doesn't even come close.
That's crazy because – I mean, when you think about it, man, you think about Minka right now, but I feel like Minka can't be in that topic right now. He haven't had enough time in as a Steeler to be labeled as one of the greatest of all times to play for the Steelers. And man, you're talking about guys like Polamalu have years of experience with the Steelers, and you can't compare Minka to those type of players. But Minka, once again, is definitely one of the best safeties I've been around. You know what I mean? Personally playing with, one of the best safeties I've been around and actually watch work. You know what I mean? Every single day, come out there with his hard hat on, and I mean, the guy is just a student of the game. He understands offense. He understands how to break down offense. He understands, like, he's just so smart. He's almost like a middle linebacker at safety.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's Minka is just the guy.
And then but with Minka, I'd say there's a lot of similarity in his game to Troy in the way they let Minka play. It kind of feels like they let Minka, just go out there. Hey, Minka, do what you feels right, essentially.
Right.
But I think you can consider Minka. You can consider him as one of the greatest safeties of all time for sure in Steelers history already.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely would say that as for the time he's been, he's definitely, I would say he's definitely overexcelled in his area, man, with expertise or where they needed him at. And he did a great job since he's been here, man, from the interceptions his first year there, from all the high-level tackles he's made in the open field, from chase downs when plays almost been a big hit. Minka was there to clean those plays up. And I think that's something that we got to keep in consideration when we think about all the best DBs in Steelers history. So, I mean, once again, I don't think Minka had enough timing quite yet to say that he's one of the best yet, because it wouldn't be fair to guys like Polamalu and RC, Rod Woodson, and all those guys that came before him that played many years, at that safety spot and held it down to high level for years.
Yeah, and then to kind of finish off this subject, I'll go with my most underrated Steelers DB of all time amongst the NFL. I would say it's Ike Taylor. If he had the interception number,
100%,
he would be he'd be down as one of I don't know, maybe a top 30 corner of all time if he came up with some of the interceptions he dropped.
Yep. And I mean, we also forget about my guy, big play, Will Gay. Yep. You know what I mean? I mean, he comes up with hell of a great plays. And I look at Will as one of those, I won't say he's the greatest of all times, but he's one of those sneaky guys that made those great plays and great moments when you needed him to. He wasn't always around the field all the time. He didn't make all the plays, but he did make the plays that counted. And that's what made him big play Willie Gay. So, yeah, man, I love his touchdown celebration dance. So man, my first rookie year there in Pittsburgh, bro, like, I still remember him. We in Latrobe in the diner hall, and he's teaching me how to do the little. I was like, "Come on, teach me that dance, bro! Like, teach me. I gotta know it." You know what I mean? But it's no better feeling than being around guys like that, man. That played on a high level, understands it, and comes back to the game and help other people understand how it need to be done. And Will play with guys, man. I'm talking about he played with guys every week, Kaleb. He played with guys, man, and he showed up every week, man. And think about it, man. He's been on the team with the Steelers his whole career almost. You know what I'm saying? Most of his whole career he's been with them. So he's been molded to a great athlete, great player, great person. So, man, I'm happy I had the opportunity. I ain't had the opportunity to play with him, but I had the opportunity to be around him. You know what I'm saying? As he was like assistant around the building and the troll, man. He made things fun for me as a rookie.
Yeah, he did everything that you wanted him to do. He did everything right. He really wasn't, I want to say, the only low light of his career, I believe, was his rookie year, and he got absolutely demolished by Adrian Peterson on a receiving touchdown. But I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Will Gay. But other than that, I mean, he was always there. He was making the right play. He was, doing everything the right way, and that's Tomlin loves that. He'd rather see you do everything the right way than, obviously vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. But when you start to talk about greatest players of all time, DK Metcalf made a crazy statement, man, this week. I wouldn't say crazy because it's not far off. I can understand where he's coming from, because you had to be there to see it. And if you wasn't there to see it, you had to see it on TV. He said AB is his number one receiver of all time. I mean, you're talking about Jerry Rice, you're talking about T.O., you're talking about Chad Johnson, you're talking about Michael Irvin, you're talking about all these great players that dedicated heart, blood, sweat, and tears to this game. that was the best at that time. You know what I mean? Every play, every Sunday, day in, day out. And he says AB is better than him. What you think, Kaleb, on that?
So I'll list off his top 5 receiver, and then he had AB at 1, he had Randy Moss at 2, T.O. at 3,
Okay.
Jerry Rice at 4. The surprise one to me was Julio Jones
Megatron.
at 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that a surprise?
Oh, I mean, when Calvin Johnson played in the NFL.
I was thinking Megatron too, but Julio, man, Julio at his prime with Atlanta, bro. It was almost like he was a cheat code, bro. Like you just threw the ball up, it was like people just couldn't grab the ball for some reason. I don't know why. It's like the ball would be right there, and they just seemed to can't locate it around him. But man, that's a crazy good list. That's a good list for him, man. That's a really good list, man. It's kind of hard, man, because I really love AB a lot. I love his game, man. Personality-wise, I mean, he has some flaws. We all do. So, I mean, I wouldn't get too much into that. But his game on the field, it's a no-brainer, bro. He can't be stopped, bro. You have to be able to see it to understand that this dude is one of a kind. I mean, this dude is one of a kind, Kaleb. Yeah. I tell you, like, dude don't even have to stretch. He comes out there and burn past your best DB. Your best DB, Kaleb, he will run right past him. I mean, hit 9 route. I'm going deep. Whatever you want to call it, I'm going deep. He's going to beat him every time. And I don't know what it is. AB just so fast, man. He just God-gifted, man. I think he understands that. That might play a little bit of roles in his character. But he just can't be stopped on the field, man. And it's hard to not say he's not number one. I mean, me personally, I think AB is definitely number one receiver of all time. I would say if he's not one, he's definitely number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think his career trajectory on that it was 6 or 7 seasons of just being unstoppable with him, Ben, and Le'Veon. I mean, if it didn't go the way it went at the end, I think for sure he would have been the number 1 receiver of all time, guaranteed. No questions asked.
Well, let's just talk about what he has done. We can't talk about the things of him flipping from team to team. And I mean, I think his Pittsburgh era, he was the best receiver of all time. I mean, I think he was. I mean, I don't really see no other receiver that was doing what he was doing on a high level. Julio was definitely killing as well, too. Let's not get me wrong. Julio, I really love Julio a lot, too. We had that opportunity to play around him with the Titans and stuff like that. But at that point, he was a little older, experiencing injuries. So, but I also seen Julio be the guy on the post route, and it looked crazy until my dude was crawling, trying to get back up to catch him. Like he's a great route runner, too. But AB, shifty fast, cut so fast, like it's crazy. So AB, I agree with DK Metcalf on this. He ain't far off. I mean, I wouldn't say he's number 1 quite yet, but he's definitely 2 if he's not 1. Best of receivers of all time from what I see.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was unstoppable. I can't disagree. He's definitely, top 2. If he's not 2, he's definitely 1.
For sure.
No receiver.
I mean, we could talk about Michael Irvin. We could talk about Michael Irvin. We could talk about Jerry Rice. Talk about all those guys. But we talking about a different era, man. I mean, my thing is, do Jerry Rice routes and today's football work for him? No, I don't really think so. They wasn't as sharp. It wasn't as crisp. I don't really think. I think Jerry Rice was just smart. Yeah. And when that comes, it has a lot to do with the game. When you smart, AB was smart, athletic, and knew how to beat a guy and create separation, man. Not only do that, get those yak yards that most teams need every year. Yak yards. Yards have to catch for people that don't know what that is. They need them yak yards. And AB was the guy for that.
And I'll say shout out to AB, over the past few months, he's been giving Ben his cookies that Ben deserves. So
for sure. Big Ben, best QB alive. Big Ben. Man, guess what's coming up in a couple weeks, man? Training camp back in Latrobe, baby. Back in Latrobe, man. I feel bad for some of these guys that's headed down to Latrobe. Some of these rookies like what's the guy name? Our guy, Broderick Jones and Spencer Anderson and Mr. Washington and all those guys, man, headed down to Latrobe for the first time, sleeping on those what I say? I said that Mormon school, the Mormon bunk beds in there.
St. Vincent.
Yeah, man. Hopefully St. Vincent, yeah. Hopefully they order those beds in advance, them king size beds. Because if not, they're gonna be on a twin bed like I was. I didn't get the memo. Devin Bush had a nice bed, and I was sitting there wondering like, why my bed so small, and like why y'all bed so big. I didn't get the memo. So guys, make sure y'all get the memo. Order y'all beds through. Forgot our guy name, security guy. Yeah, order through him. He'll get you right. But yeah, man, Latrobe, man, that's definitely an experience, man. It's one of those ones that you never forget, because I never forget that. That almost made me like tell myself I don't like football no more. Latrobe was a tough one, man. It was definitely around this time of year. I don't know. I was looking at the schedule, man. I was looking at the calendar, man, a couple hours ago, and I said, "Wow, it's like July 13th, July 12th." Like training camp starts around the 22nd through 27th. Like around that time, some teams are reporting between that window. Yep. I was like, "Ooh, this be around that time when everybody trying to get up and start working out real quick, trying to eat and get all nice and cut up, and stomach be hurting every day because you're nervous." And man, you just gotta love those days, man. But as we come into this talk about training camp, man, it's a lot of matchups and things like that I definitely want to key in on. We know QB1 spot is definitely on lock, but what is your prediction going into week 1, man? Who's your number 2 QB?
I think it's Mitch. I don't think there's any question about it. You brought this up earlier, so I've had some time to sit on it and kind of think about it. I think it's Mitch, and I don't think Mason hasn't played bad enough to not be QB2. I just think the writing is on the wall with the extension that they gave to Trubisky. Obviously, he was the starter last year. Granted, he was 50-50 on the games he came in on last year when Kenny got hurt. But yeah, I think it's Mitch. I think they've actually may have gone out and said that Mitch is going to be QB2, and when they signed Mason that he was going to be QB3.
Okay. So he's an inactive quarterback. So you're predicting that he's an inactive quarterback going into week 1. Me personally, I don't know. I think it's up in the air. I don't really solidify Mitch as number 2 yet, because I like Mitch, but I also have loyalty to my guy Mason. I think Mason's a hell of a QB. I always spoke about him highly all the time, about his readiness every week, man. When he approaches the practice field every day, he it's no other guy that puts the time and effort that I've seen into the books as much as Mason does. So I think he has every chance to be number 2 right now. Right on the wall, all that gibberish. It doesn't really matter when it comes to who could throw that ball and make plays. And I think Mason right now, man, he had, once again, like I said, when he finally got signed back to the Steelers, that he has something to prove. Yeah. He has something to prove. This is the second stint here now. This is the opportunity to wipe everything that happened before on his rookie deal now to basically come clean and make a whole new name for himself. Mason Rudolph, man, the guy was in the Pac-12 lighting it up, throwing the ball over the place. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do, man, as we come out this time, man. And I think that, I wouldn't say Mitch probably won't be QB2-1 coming there because of politic reasons, but he better buckle up, man. It's going to be a long ride for that QB2 spot.
Yeah.
If I'm Mitch.
Everything you just said, K-Dot said on that episode we had him on, you guys kind of both said the same things about Mason. He's down to work. He gets down to the nitty gritty, and he throws a pretty ball. He does.
I never seen a guy spinning like that. Ben was a great, smart guy, but Ben had probably one of the worst throwing motions I ever saw. It looked like he was almost struggling to throw. Like, I'm talking about even with his healthy arm before it got messed up. It was terrible. But Ben knew how to get it there, though. That's one thing. Ben knew how to get it there. But Basin, man, has a pretty ball, man. His delivery, just the way it comes out, everything is perfect, man. It just got to get it up here. Once they get it up here quick enough, as far as not knowing the plays, but slowing the game down up here. And I'm telling you, he's going to light it up. I think, man, that QB2 spot is up in the air. I don't think Mason won. I don't think Mitch won that already.
Yeah. And then there's – so to kind of go off of the quarterback, the QB2 potential battle, there's 2 other in-camp, training camp battles I want to see. The first one is Broderick against Cam Hayward, because Cam loves to fight in training camp, and who lines up across from Broderick at that defensive end spot, and that's Cam. Broderick's going to see everybody. They're going to throw Larry O at him. They're going to throw Cam at him. They're going to throw TJ at him. They're going to throw Highsmith. He's going to get worked. And
for sure.
we'll find out within probably the first 2 weeks if he's going to be ready now or if it's going to take some time to develop him. And, like K-Dot said, when he was sticking up for Dan Moore, potentially, he might not start this year. And then
it might not. It's a big chance that he might not. Yeah. But once again, in 2 weeks we'll tell once training camp get underway, man, in Latrobe where ain't no running, ain't no hiding. Yeah. You gonna come out every day with your hard hat on. You gonna work. You're gonna work, man. And Mike T gonna make sure that, and he gonna find out what's the best 11 on that field on offensive, defensive side to go out there and go to war every week. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna need some dogs up front. And and that was kind of what I was gonna get into my next topic about training camp is. You know what I mean? When you think of the O-line, like, we still got to get back to Broderick. I mean, he's number one draft pick, number one overall. Not only overall, but he's the Steelers' first overall pick. And he's the hot topic. And we going into a spot where that spot is technically already locked, if you want to be technical. But technically, it's not locked because they drafted him. So I just can't wait to see the battle between him and Dan Moore, man, for the left tackle spot. I mean, Chooks, he's locked. No one's taking my guy Chooks' spot. He's on lock.
100%.
But Dan Moore and him, man. But once again, man, it's all love, man. It's all love between the guys up front, man. I'm happy that K-Dap was able to share that about how tight the O-line is. So, man, if he got a good group of veterans in there, man, they going to take him under the wing, and he going to come along really quick. First couple of days in pads, he might struggle because the tempo is totally different from Georgia, my boy. It's totally different, man. You're dealing with grown men like Cam Hayward that played the game for a long time. Trust me, I felt Cam my first day at OTAs. I was like, this is not a real person. This is not a real person. So, man, but everybody gonna get that welcome to the NFL moment. And yeah, man, and I'm very interested to see what happens with Broderick, man, as far as that left tackle spot and who gets that spot coming out going into week 1.
And then my second competition I'm looking forward to, and this is as long as Joey signs in time to participate in the beginning of training camp. It's Joey Porter Jr. and your day one from last year, George Pickens.
100%. I was just about to get to that one too. Man, iron sharpens iron. That's all I can say. Iron sharpens iron. Because, man, I love to see little Joey go out there and work. But I know day one, you know what I'm saying? For 30 days straight, he had that mask on. He gonna go crazy, and I'm excited, man, to see that matchup, man, because it's gonna get Joey ready for the NFL, man, and it's gonna continue to sharpen George's readiness every week, man, going against a guy with length like that. Yeah. Because we want to get a guy with length like that, man. When you get those little small DBs, man, it should be cake, man. It should be cake getting around those guys, being able to swim hands and get around those little guys, man. Because Joey gonna bring physicality, he gonna bring toughness. You know what I mean? He going to have to block him, and he going to have to use his hands and really manhandle Joey because Joey is not going to allow that. So all that pushing people off the line, I cannot wait to see if we get to hit Joey with one of those in practice. I'll be watching Training Camp closely.
It's crazy to think about, like, Joey and George Pickens. Like, if you made George a DB, he would look like Joey. And if you made Joey a receiver, like their body style, the way they play the game, it's like exactly the same.
Yeah, and then, definitely the same.
And then speaking of George, there is one thing that I want to talk about that Patrick Peterson had to say about him a few days ago, I believe, on his All Things Covered podcast with Brian McFadden, is he sees a lot of his former teammate in DeAndre Hopkins in George Pickens. What do you think about that?
Potential. It's definitely potential there. I wouldn't quite say I see a lot of DeAndre Hopkins in him. I don't know. I look at D-Hop is a little more shifty, I think. I think a little Pickens is a little more of aggressive, exactly what we thought Claypool was going to be. Yeah. Not super fast, but he's one of those go-get-it guys. You know what I mean? One of those physical hand guys, go get it. Don't get me wrong, DeAndre Hopkins is very physical. But I wouldn't say he's a guy that when you look at off rip and say, oh, he's a big go deep physical guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a guy that's gonna get you a lot of yak yards. He gonna get you a lot of those yards out to catch every time you get the ball. But DeAndre Hopkins is definitely a great deep threat too. So it's hard to say just yet because Pickens only been in the league for 1 year, so he haven't really developed his character as a player yet. And say what you expect out of him every week yet, because I don't think he really got the ball enough. He ain't got enough film of him actually touching the ball and making a hell of a long lot of plays.
Yeah.
But we do got a lot of plays of him making is one hand catches like this, deep balls over people's head. We got that. So when only thing I can go off is what we see. And what we see is what we thought Claypool was going to be, like a Megatron, which is not a person that's real fast and shifty, a guy that's just going to go get the ball off your head. And DeAndre Hopkins is not only just that. DeAndre Hopkins is a little more faster, speed, catch the ball, and he's gone.
Yeah, and that's I'm excited to see if George worked on. I'm sure he did, but I'm excited to see how his route running progressed from last year, because obviously we know D-Hop was an amazing route runner, because we've all seen the viral video of D'Angelo Hall jaw jacking a D-Hop. And then D-Hop just taking those ankles, literally took his ankles. Pretty sure he was gone for like the first 5 weeks of the season because his ankles were gone.
Yep. Yeah, D-Hop, man, definitely a hell of a player, but I definitely don't think Pickens is quite into himself yet to say he's quite a D-Hop just yet, man. Maybe once a couple years go past and he start to establish himself as a guy that can catch some passes and get some yak yards, man. That I keep speaking about yak yards because that's so important for teams, man. It's more important. It's important to catch the ball, but it's more important to catch the ball and make someone miss and go get some more yards. So I think that, I mean, once again, like D-Hop is amazing with the yak yards, man. So, but as we continue to talk about training camp, man, and moving towards week 1, Darnell Washington's a hot topic right now of a guy that potentially may not have a hat week 1. That's kind of a tough put. That's a tough pill. That's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, he was a guy on draft day I was hyped about, man. 6'0" lineman, man. Guy's physical. I mean, him and Pat Firemove, man. That's a great combination, man. From power, speed, and all that, man. Because Firemove is more of a receiver type. Let's be real here. Like, he doesn't like to block. He's not a big blocker, but he's a guy that's a great, receiver at tight end. So, and Darnell Washington, you have a guy like him that doesn't mind getting his hands dirty in the trenches with the O-line and also catching those short passes and making someone miss or jumping over someone's head or running the guy over. So, I mean, you get everything in Darnell Washington. You get mainly a receiver. You get mainly a receiver in Pat Firemove. So, but Zach Gentry is still there too. He's the guy that don't get the hat on Sunday.
So
you think, Kaleb?
I think all the tight ends are going to get a hat, because I think Connor Hayward is that utility guy.
Connor Hayward, forgot about him.
He's that utility guy. I think he's going to be like that fullback type, and he's going to split out wide because he can do that.
Right.
I don't think there's any way that Darnell Washington doesn't suit up week 1. I don't. I
mean, I don't say it either. It'll be completely a mind blower to see Darnell Washington don't get a hat, because I think he's going to be a tremendous special teamer. I don't think he's going to be the best one, but I think he's going to bring that physical kickoff team type of guy. He's not going to make a lot of plays. He's probably going to make a lot of tackles, but he's going to start to set the tempo out there, running guys over, making guys shift their direction, man, and get other people tackles down the lane. So I think Darnell Washington definitely gets a hat on Sunday.
And his number one attribute is run blocking, and guess what? The Steelers are making a point to do: run the ball.
Run the ball.
So I mean,
facts. For sure.
Whoever said that, we won't say his name on this show, but we'll say that comment for another time. Nice try on the hot take.
Kayla, let's talk, man, here about training camp, man, before we bring the wind down and close out here. Biggest and winner, one player that's a bigger, how can I put this? Your biggest and losers of training camp. You got to get one winner and one loser.
Ooh. So
prediction getting out of training camp.
Biggest winner. I'm gonna go Hakeem Butler, the receiver from the Battle Hawks in the XFL.
From the XFL.
Yep. I'm gonna go with him as the biggest winner. I think he's gonna do some things to catch Mike T's eyes and hopefully Canada's eyes, and Yeah, and our receiver. Who's on receiver coach? Frisman Jackson. Is that right? Does that sound right? Frisman Jackson. I know he was a receiver coach. Either way, if it's Frisman Jackson, catch their eyes, and having that that size that they're looking for, obviously in the receiver room now, because we have 4 or 5 receivers of that size. But I think he's good. I think he's gonna be a big winner. Loser. Let's.
Okay, I go with my winner first.
Yeah.
I would say my winner. I would go with my loser first. My biggest loser come out of training camp. I hate to do this, but I'm going with Broderick Jones. I just don't think he's going to be quite ready come out of training camp just yet. I think that once he get down to Latrobe and he figure how fast this game is, and once he get those big body guys down there, I think things going to kind of settle in for him that this game is a little more different than you think it is, buddy. You know what I mean? And I think that Broderick is definitely going to be a hell of a player. Not saying that. I don't want Twitter and everybody going crazy on who cares about Derwin Gray's opinion. Here we go. I'm saying that Broderick Jones is going to be a hell of a player, but with the iron sharpening iron down in Latrobe is only going to get him better. But right now, I don't think he's going to be quite ready yet week 1. So I think he's going to be kind of the biggest upset for fans going into week 1 of the season. So I think he's my biggest loser to come out of training camp.
That's a good one. See, I'm leaning towards somebody in the DB room, but I'm also leaning towards somebody in the running back room that's been getting a lot of hype. I'm gonna go Levi Wallace, because I think we're gonna see
Levi Wallace.
I think we're gonna see. And it's not going to be due to his
play. The biggest loser?
And it's not going to be due to his play.
It's
not going to be due to his play. It's going to be due to how well Joey Porter Jr. and our 7th-round rookie, Corey Trice, play.
Corey Trice, I'm excited about that young guy right there. I'm super excited about him.
Yeah, I think, and like I said, it's not going to be anything with Levi's play. I think it's just going to be the rise of those 2 young guys right there. Yeah. Which he'll have a big contribution to that.
That makes a lot of sense. That definitely makes a lot of sense. My biggest winner, man, come out of training camp, man, as we wrap this episode up. Alfonzo Graham, running back, man, out of Morgan State, man, HBCU guy, man. I'm going as the biggest winner for me, man. I think that he a shifty back, man, that's going to make a crazy impact on special teams, man. I think he's going to be a great guy and helping the swing of field position, man, as far as all the special teams. He's going to be a core special teamer, man. I think with that speed, he's going to be a hell of a gunner, man. He's going to be a hell of a gunner on punt team, man, getting around those guys and getting out there making those tackles, man, and also just forcing fair catches a lot, man, creating all those net yards, man. So I think he's going to be a hell of a guy. And he's going to start to earn himself a little bit of play on the offensive side of the ball too, man. But I think when they go down to Latrobe and do back-on-backers, man, those middle linebackers, man, that have to check or guard, they had to check or guard this guy in open space on back-on-backers, it's over with. It's over with. That fast boy there is out the gate, man. So he's my biggest winner going into I leave him out of training camp.
It's funny. It's funny you said that name, because that is the guy that I was considering for the potential biggest loser.
Wow. You thought he was the biggest loser? Wow.
Amongst Steeler fans, there is a bunch of hype around him and what he can bring to the table. So I'm curious to see, and this is why I was considering him for that spot. Is because of all this hype, can he live up to it? Can he be that guy? And then you got to think there's that, your guy, Ant Mac, he's hungry.
Oh, Anthony
he's hungry. So, I mean, that's going to be, I think between those two, it's going to be a really good battle. My only concern is, can Alfonzo be what we hope he can be? And can he live up to, I mean, we haven't really put him up there on a pedestal, but, for your 3rd running back, he's kind of been put up there like that. But yeah, that was just, I laughed on the inside when you said his name, because I was like, man, I was going to say he could potentially be the biggest loser.
On that note, we're going to end it off like that. Man, I appreciate everybody rocking with 3 Point Stance Podcast with myself, D. Gray, and my co-host, man, Kaleb the GOAT, man. I appreciate rocking with you every week, man. It's been fun every week, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man. This will be up. Twitter, YouTube, clips everywhere, man. So make sure y'all, man, like, share, subscribe, man. Man, send us some comments, man. Let us know what y'all thinking, man. So appreciate y'all rocking with us, Kaleb. Any more thoughts?
Yeah, we hit everything on the head. You know, we got my guy over here. Don't forget USFL championship.
USFL champion. Appreciate that.
So put some respect on his name. And we're happy to be back. It's been almost a month. So we're happy to be back.
About a month.
We hope y'all had a great holiday over the 4th of July. Got to spend time with family.
And also be on the lookout this weekend for Whiskey Weekends, man. Episode will be coming out this Saturday, man, on Whiskey Weekend. So get to talk about our little fun late night. You'll have to come and see it. Check out the rest.
So that's the 3 Point Stance episode. Peace.